Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live pop-up chat, and I bring you some good news today. I like good news, especially with all the terrible stuff that's happened last week with what's gone on in New Zealand. It's nice to have some good news, some unexpected good news from a very extremely low-key event which happened yesterday on Sunday. In fact, I think it was Sunday. The photographs came through anyway on Sunday. Oh no, I forgot. I was going to put the link in the description. Okay, I will put the link to the photographs in the description as soon as I finished. So, in fact, I don't know if I can. Can I put any on? I don't know. No, okay. That's fine. I will put the link in the description as soon as I finished, and you can go and check out the photographs. I'm so sorry, I forgot to do it before I jumped on live, but never matter. It doesn't matter. We will still talk about what I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to find the chat room first, and we will get into all the details about Lena Tindall's christening, and we'll talk a bit about the name as well, because I remember making a video at the time that Lena was born about how to pronounce the name. And it was confirmed officially that even though the name is spelled Lena, Lena, the name is pronounced Lena, as in Layna. So if you're wondering why I'm calling her Lena, it's because that is how you pronounce it, even though it is spelt Lena, technically. So baby Lena Elizabeth Tindall. Of course, Elizabeth, a nod to her her great grandmother. I was going to say grandmother then, but no, it's great grandmother, the Queen. Hello to everybody, by the way, in the chat room. I can see everybody already. I'm trying to be a wealth of information, Sweet Trinity. So thank you so much. Okay, so Lena Elizabeth Tindall, 9 months old, and she is being christened in an extremely low key service. It kind of came completely out of the blue. I didn't know it was happening. I don't think many people knew that it was happening, but it did. And it was a low key service in Gloucestershire in the UK, and it was held at St Nicholas's Church in Cherrington, and that is the same church that that Lena's sister Mia was christened at, and also cousin Isla Phillips. So there we go. Now, who was in attendance? Well, I mean, in the photographs that I saw, they only kind of really focused on the Queen and Princess Anne and just a few others. So we didn't really get to see in the photographs, I don't think, perhaps like all of the congregation of who was invited. But in terms of royals, we do know that the Queen attended, along with Princess Anne and, of course, Zara's father, Mark Phillips. So he was there too. Notably, in the article, it does make a point of saying that William and Catherine weren't there, and neither was Prince Philip. But I think we know that Prince Philip, he just wants to stay out of any limelight whatsoever. I mean, he's taking his retirement seriously, full on. So I'm not surprised that Philip wasn't there. In terms of William and Catherine, I mean, does it really matter that they didn't go? It's probably because they may have had something that they were already doing with their family. It was, of course, the weekend. And perhaps Harry and Meghan were representing all of them as a foursome. So, again, I think a little bit of press trying to cause a few little ripples by saying why weren't they there. But I don't think it was anything serious at all. Let me know, of course, what you guys are all thinking. Jerry says, what is the tiara I'm wearing? It is the Lover's Knot tiara. And it's a very good replica, if you see. So I'm going to put that back on. Yes, it is wonderful news about Prince Harry being named godfather to Lena Tindall. It keeps connected to her royal bloodline. I think so too. Shelby says, why so late? I thought babies were christened early. No, I think that's kind of normal in the UK. I mean, you can christen them younger, but no, that's kind of normal. Cindy says, Harry and Zara have always been close. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say in the article, I don't think, who the other godparents are, but obviously we know about Harry. Leslie Lane Fenton says, I wanted to ask you, are all of the Queen Victoria's tiaras used by the Queen? Some of them are actually in the Albert and Victoria Museum, actually. But again, if you're wondering about where the private jewellery is kept, it's kept in Buckingham Palace, and unless any have been loaned out on long-term loan, but the crown jewels are kept in the Tower, but tiaras don't normally come into the crown jewels. Okay, so more information about the christening. I haven't finished yet. So, where was I? Oh, yes. The Reverend was a Dr. Gerald South, who is known as the priest in charge. Now, apparently, someone who attended the morning service, so this is not the christening, but someone who attended service in the morning, I believe the typical Sunday service, by the same vicar, didn't know anything about the royal christening later in the afternoon. So the vicar didn't mention it one bit. He kept it well on the down low. So well done, that vicar. I'm going to give the vicar a lovely big fan flap for keeping it private and not selling out to the media or any of that business. So well done, that vicar. We applaud you. For those of you who are interested, Meghan was wearing a vintage style coat, and it is believed to be Dior. I'm not even going anywhere where the price is, because quite frankly that's irrelevant and it's very flippant, and I'm not bothered about the price. But I do like to mention the designer if it's something that I like, and I did like the coat. I liked the vintage cut. I liked the colour. I thought she looked absolutely lovely in what is believed to be Dior. She also had a Stephen or Stephen James hat, and she was carrying what is believed to be a Victoria Beckham bag. So there we go. I'm not sure about the shoes. People are saying pictures. I was going. If you've just joined me, I'm sorry. I forgot to put the link in the description before I came on. But I will. Oh no, hang on. Hang on a minute. I can do it from this, because normally I do it on my phone. Hang on a minute. I think I can actually update it. Just you wait a second. Hang on. Hang on just a second, because I think I can update it while we're live. So while this is just sorting through a few things, I will update the link to the pictures. But I'll just put a little bit more information as well. So the vicar afterwards was asked, and he said, he referred to it as it was a lovely service, and he wouldn't elaborate anymore because it is a private service. So yes, I think everything went really well. Hang on, this is taking too long. I will put the link in the description for the photographs as soon as I've gone offline, so they will be there. But I'm sure you can see the photographs literally everywhere. Did I have a christening? Yes. Alright, let me just go back again, because there are a few comments. Hang on. Marina B says, I want to discuss Harry only taking 2 weeks off when his baby is born. I've got that on my list. That was the extra thing I wanted to talk about as well as the second baby shower, which we'll get to. So, I've been seeing a lot of nonsense. Where's my fan flap? I've been seeing a lot of nonsense on YouTube videos and in the press about paternity leave. Okay, so let's discuss British paternity leave. So, the standard male paternity leave is 2 weeks, and it is believed or understood. Yes, baloney, sir. It's baloney, sir. The standard British male paternity is 2 weeks. Okay, so if Harry decides to take the 2 weeks, that is perfectly normal. But we did have an introduction where the standard 6 months that the mother typically has can be split. So that means, for example, or shared in any way that you want. So let's just say Meghan had baby Sussex and she wanted to go back to work after 3 months. Harry, technically, could transfer the remaining 3 months to Harry, and Harry would have the statutory £145 maternity allowance that the mother typically has for that 6 months. Or Meghan could go back to work after 2 months, and then Harry could look after baby for 4 months. So however way as a family you see the best split, you can do it. And that was typically introduced, obviously, to make things fair and equal between women and men, so that the men have a chance to have, an equal share of the maternity as possible. But also, it recognises that a lot of women these days have high flying, high paying jobs. And it might not necessarily be the male that is the top earner in the household. So it makes it easier for technically the female to go back to work earlier and make all that extra money. Bring in the coin, baby, bring in the coin. And the man who may have the lesser paid job to take on the childcare, and you still obviously get the same maternity allowance benefits. So in the case of Harry and Meghan, it's fine. He doesn't need to take 3 months off. Harry and Meghan don't need to split maternity. And I know in one video I watched they were going on almost accusingly, and I didn't like the accusations, that Harry was doing a disservice to men and that he should publicise that that you can take the maternity and share the maternity, and that only something like 2% or whatever it was of men take up the split maternity. Well, I think that families know these rules. They are explained to them when the principal caregiver draws the maternity allowance. They are made aware that the maternity can be split. Families make up their own minds on what best fits their family unit. If the take-up of it hasn't been very high, then I think that raises other questions in terms of who is paid the most in the family. And, typically, they have been going on about the gender pay gap, and it's probably because men typically probably still get paid slightly higher than females. It's not right, but it's probably what goes on, and therefore families are deciding that, it's the man that should go to work and earn the money and bring it in. I think things are evening up in the UK with the gender pay gap. I think certainly certain businesses are making great strides, but also I think typically the female still likes to take the longer chunk of the maternity to get over having a baby. It's a big job, carrying a baby for 9 months and then doing all that business of birth. Hey, I'd want 6 months off too. So no, there is nothing wrong with Harry taking the statutory 2 weeks paternity. It is absolutely fine, and I'm going to give Harry a yellow fan flap for taking the 2 weeks paternity and letting Meghan put her feet up for 6 months. Well done, Harry. It's all I've got to say. Okay, let's see what people are saying about all of this. Okay, I have discussed the tiara, so there we go. Okay, let's see what people are saying. People saying it was a lovely coat. I would agree entirely. There is no strained relationship between anybody. H. London says, I follow them quite closely. Who? Are we talking about Harry and Meghan? Alicia says, elderly poodle, the birth will likely be in April. I think we're looking at mid-April for the baby birth. Maggie says, paternity leave isn't even a thing in the US. Oh no, that's awful. Elderly poodle wants the birth to be in May. I'm afraid we have no control over that one. Okay, Catherine says, did the Queen veto the whole independent office thing? No. No. If you remember, just think logically. Let's go back to the whole scenario of that the Queen's children come under the Buckingham Palace umbrella. Harry is being the same as the Queen's children, the same as Andrew, and the Wessexes, and what have you, and the Queen's cousins. They all come under the household of the Queen under Buckingham Palace. Well, they have their own households, but it's under the same umbrella as Buckingham Palace. So Harry is just fitting in with the rest. There is no who are. The Queen didn't veto anything. If you look at the initial press release about it, it said that they looked at a number of options. So they considered all the options, and the best fit, probably for financial reasons, practical reasons, protection reasons, was that Harry's household would come under the Buckingham Palace umbrella, if you like. So there is no shade being cast by the Queen. She didn't veto anything. There isn't an attempt to clip any wings. Harry and Meghan aren't being, it's not been done to watch them closely, like they're some sort of naughty school children. No, 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 no. The Queen has shown great faith in the Sussexes by giving them the positions that she has in the Commonwealth. The two stories, the one about trying to control them and the freedom that she's giving them with being representatives of the Commonwealth, it doesn't add up, does it? So no. I don't think there's anything in that whatsoever. Let's zoom down to the bottom of the comments. Catherine says, yes, that's what I thought. It was the press casting aspersions. Definitely aspersions. Marsilia says, I have learnt to ignore anything that says an insider or a source says. Yes. Unless it's... Well, I mean, sometimes we can speculate and we can make a good assumption on bits of information that we do know, but certainly these things about the royal insiders, and I don't believe a word of it. Opal says, your company gives you 3 months of leave. Jamie says, the Queen went to Gloucestershire for this christening but didn't go to Kensington Palace for Louis. If you remember at the time, it was a busy period. Something had happened. Was it the Trump visit before? The Queen had a tremendously busy week before the christening of Louis. And I think she was really, as we say in the UK, she was knackered. She was absolutely knackered. She was exhausted. She'd had an incredibly busy week. Like I say, I think it was the Trump week when Trump came over, and she'd been doing that, and then there was other things. She'd been on the go for a long time. Was it even the horse racing as well, where she was attending the Ascot? I'm sure it was around that time. She was really busy, and so I think she decided not to attend the christening. I don't think it was any slight on Prince Louis or the Cambridges. Again, there's no feud, there's no rifts. But also, I do think she has a special connection with Zara. They share a love of horses, and if the Queen was feeling up to it and well rested, then I think. Oh, and also, it was on a Sunday. I believe it was on a Sunday, so she typically goes to church on a Sunday anyway, so why not? Beverly says, I just want to say that I love your sight and your impartial attitude towards the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Thanks for keeping the truth out there. I try. Jamie says, you thought it was because the baby was named after her. Well, Elizabeth is Lena's middle name, but no, I don't think that was the sole reason. Oh, by the way, in the photograph, did you see the Queen was holding the same umbrella as me? I think she's been watching my vlog and decided to choose the same umbrella as what I chose for this week's vlog. Marcelia says, so who says the Queen has to attend everything connected with her relatives? For goodness sake, she's 92 years old. I think not attending Louis was at that period, I can't remember all the details, but it was that period when she was extreme. It was a very busy week for the Queen. Yes, Leslie, I can do that in a moment. I will revisit. Maggie says, dealing with the president, it's no wonder she was exhausted. There were other things as well. It wasn't just Trump. I think it was a busy period. I agree, H. London. All royals must laugh so hard at some of the rumours written about them if they pay any attention to it at all. Well, as we know, Meghan tries to stay away from the noise. Kelly Dugas says, remember the BBC clip of the Queen in the garden um, when she hears a helicopter and said, is that President Trump? No, wasn't it? Was it Obama as well? I'm sure she said something. Yes, I think she did mention Trump though. Marcelia says, you have it backwards. You copied the Queen's umbrella. I did not do no such thing. I'm giving that a black fan flap. That was it. Jamie said he also thinks it was the state opening of Parliament. Yes, I think there was something going on around that period, and she was tired. She was tired. Bless her. I don't blame her. Wendy says, I was like, oh my god, the Queen has my umbrella. There was something going on last year when she was busy. Okay, Leslie, I'm going to go back to Leslie's comment about when you are finished today, could you revisit which are the true royal channels? Well, there's only really one, and that is the one with the picture of the Queen, and I think it's called the Royal Family. Not the Royal Family channel, the Royal Family, and it's got the little tick. It's got the little blue tick by it with a picture of the Queen. So that is the proper official Royal Family channel, which of course is a good one to follow. The other one, the Royal Family channel, is run by News Network ITV, but I don't think they necessarily tell lies on it. And all the rest are quite rubbish, I have to say, apart from me. But there is obviously historic royal palaces is another good one. Okay, just going back up. Yeah, she was busy making it rain. Margaret says, I would love to see both Harry and Meghan have 3 months off maternity leave to give them a chance to enjoy their new baby. Well, I mean, technically, Harry could take as long as he wants because he hasn't got to worry about the money. But I think he'd be criticised if he did take 3 months off. Can you imagine what the press would say if he took? It'd be lazy Prince Harry this, lazy Prince Harry that. I don't think they'd take fondly to not having having Meghan and Harry both on maternity for a long period. Where would their stories come from? Who would they have to gossip about? No, I don't think that would fit very well into the press narrative. They wouldn't have any source material to make lies about, would they? Okay. Margaret says the press might call him lazy, but the rest of us would call him a very, very good and a kind father. Well, I agree with that, but you can just hear what the press would say, can't you? Doesn't take a genius to work out what line they take on that one. Jamie says he doesn't need 3 months. You'd go mad locked up for that long. Personally, I would probably agree. But, I mean, he's going to be coming home to Meghan and baby every day anyway. Yes, Blossom Log Payne says William was seen nodding off in church not long after Louis was born. A very tiring period. I will be doing more from my greenhouse. Any idea of how Her Majesty got to Gloucester? It didn't say. I mean, we've got the photos. Was she getting out of a car? Did I see a car? I don't think so. I would imagine it would have been by car. I mean, in the comment, I'm just scanning through the photographs. In the comments, beneath the photo, no one said anything about there being a helicopter flying in. So I'm assuming it was vehicle, as in land vehicle. And the Tindalls are getting into a Land Rover, I can see in the photographs. Obviously, probably going back to Princess Anne's estate, Gatcombe Park. I would imagine perhaps the Queen even went back to Gatcombe for some tea afterwards. By the way, I think Mike Tindall looked lovely in the photographs. I'm just scanning through them now. I think he looked rather lovely. He was carrying Lena into church, actually. I'm just looking at a picture now of Meghan, and I just love the colour. It's that kind of what would you describe it as? It's like a two-tone like I can almost see like a sheer two-tone between red and maybe a little bit of like tiny little bit of orangey coming through. I don't know. Anyway, it's like kind of like a berry, but it's a vintage style coat with big buttons, and I love it. And I love the little Victoria Beckham clutch bag, and the little beret hat is lovely. She's got her hair down. Again, I can't see the engagement ring on the finger. I think she has a wedding band on, but I think, like we said before, her fingers may have swollen up slightly, and the engagement ring might be uncomfortable at this point. So I think that's the reason. No, I definitely can't see the ring. Maybe someone can if they've got better eyes than me, but I can't see the ring. Harry is helping Meghan. She's holding on. I think the ground may be slightly uneven underfoot, and I can't see Meghan's shoes, but I'm imagining she's still wearing her high heels. The Queen's carrying my umbrella. I lent it. She's lent it. I've lent it to her on long-term loan. There's a wonderful picture of the Queen kind of peering under the umbrella, looking to see what's going on, which I quite liked. I can see Zara's shoes. Zara Tindall, Zara Phillips, as she was wearing a bright pair of purple shoes, which I quite liked, and quite a high heel. I mean, how many inches? 4, 5 inches heels? Maybe more. I'm not very good at estimating heels. And a lovely purple matching hat as well. So it looks like most of them arrived by car, actually. I can see vehicles aplenty lined up, dropping them off. The Queen was seen clutching a service, St Nicholas's Church, Cherrington, the christening of Lena Elizabeth Tindall on the front with the date. The Queen was wearing a lovely kind of, what would you call it? It's not white and it's not cream, kind of like a tulle, not tulle. Anyway, it's a light coloured outfit. I'm not very good at describing the fashion. But yes, she looked lovely in a matching hat as well. We don't know who designed that. And you can just see baby Lena clinging onto, kind of hugging onto Mike. Who wouldn't want to hug onto Mike? And Princess Anne, oh, the hat. I've just noticed all the little kind of feathered details on the hat. I love Princess Anne's hat. And she's wearing a lovely scarf around her neck too. Didn't say who designed that, but it's probably something she's had for ages. She's the queen of recycling clothes. So yes, some nice photographs, which I will put the link to in the description as soon as I finish the live chat. And that's all that we kind of have about that, really. So I'm going to go back to the chat room and see what people are saying. Elderly Poodle says, I'm going to wear 6-inch heels in my greenhouse. Do it, do it, do it, do it. Yes, so, how are we doing for time? Oh, we're fine at the minute. Patricia said she doesn't have it on. No, I didn't think I could see it. Again, I think it's because of her fingers. Wendy said they said the coat was chocolate brown. What, Meghan's coat? I'm not seeing chocolate brown. Who said it was chocolate brown? That's not chocolate brown. That looks more like a red. That's more like a really dark berry. I'm sorry, that is not chocolate brown, is it? Oh, actually, there's a little fashion thing here, and it says a Dior Haute Couture evening silk brown. Okay, it's described as brown. It doesn't look very brown to me. Okay, go and look at the photos, or if you've seen them already, and post in the comment section, either now or when this video is on my channel afterwards. Tell me if you think that's brown. Maybe I'm colourblind. It doesn't look brown to me. It looks more like a red berry tint to me. But it is described as brown. There we go. I would not have described that as brown. Or chocolate. Okay. What are Eugenie and Jack doing right now? I have no idea. Probably putting their feet up with a cup of tea, my loves. Maybe having their evening meal. Yes, I think William and Catherine did really well on St Patrick's Day. And yes, Catherine always looked beautiful. I saw a funny article saying, Catherine wore green. Well, of course she did. She's worn green every single time she's attended the St Patrick's Day parade. It didn't take a genius to work out which colour she was going to wear. I don't know if the Queen stayed with Princess Anne overnight. I wouldn't have thought so. Jamie says it's brown with a glossy coat. Like a dog. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, anything described with a glossy coat. It could be my Molly. She's got a lovely glossy coat. No, I wouldn't have said it was brown or chocolate. It looks like, I'm going to call it berry, like a dark crimson. It's more like a crimson. A crimson. Verona says blackberry. Yeah, that kind of more reddish colour. Berry, yes, D-Ray, I think you're right. Like a berry. She looked good in it anyway. You know, I don't really like many things, but I liked that. And I liked all the clothes that she had on for the Moroccan tour as well. Yes, her at number 23 might. Patricia says, I think it may be in the chocolate family, but not necessarily chocolate. Maybe it's raspberry chocolate. Yeah, burgundy on the berry shade. There we go. McVenna says, Mike Tindall is on a YouTube channel about rugby. They recently had Zara on and they spoke about how they met. I haven't seen that. I will have to go and check that one out. But I have heard him speak before about their relationship. Amy Kimball says, I think it's red too. It doesn't look chocolate brown. That's not chocolate brown. Whoever wrote that, I think they're colourblind. That's not chocolate brown. Maggie says a chocolate raspberry. Well, shall we go with chocolate raspberry then? Yes, Beatrice did go shopping and she was out papped, but I can't use those photos because they're copyrighted. Jamie says it's green. Well, Catherine's was green for St Patrick's Day, obviously. Okay, I'm going to leave it here. I think I've answered all your questions. And also, we've spoken about a few other little fake stories out there that kind of get my goat, as we say in the UK. So I'm going to go now. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Oh, by the way, subscribe to my other channel, Elliot's British Life, because I may be popping on there, maybe even later, I don't know, to do maybe another little tarot reading. I don't know. Mystic Elliot may be back, so do go and check that out. But I'm going to upload it onto the correct channel this time. I'm going to have to make sure I do not upload anything that I don't want on this channel. Anyway, go check out that channel and see if you want to join. I will put the pictures in the description below. And by the way, it is a Daily Mail article where the pictures are, but I am not going off the Daily Mail in terms of everything being factual. It's just they have really good photos. So do go and check them out. Come back to this video, leave your comments. Let me know if you think the dress is chocolate or brown or raspberry or berry or whatever. So anyway, if you've enjoyed it, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media and make sure you are subscribed to this channel. So